So today is a seminar on CCNA actually, as you know this. So before we see what exactly is CCNA, let us see what is MCSC first. MCSC or Linux administration. Now let us have some comparison between the server administration part and the network administration part. See, whenever you see the courses like MCSE or Linux administration, these are the courses related to the server administration, and CCNA is a course that is related to the network administration. Okay, network administration means, it deals with routers, switches, IP addresses, the connections, the configuration of these devices. Okay, so this is what network administration is all about. Okay, fine. So let us go a bit deep into the server administration part and the network administration part. Then we can see what exactly we are learning in our CCNA. Okay, so when I say MCSE or Linux, I'll go with like something like server administration. So one is a server administration and the other one is network administration. Okay, so what is server administration and what is network administration? So this is a very simple computer network here, and in this network you can see most of the devices that we have in every network actually. Like there are some servers here, there are some routers, there is a switch, there are many computers you can see, and there is an internet connection there is a printer and all those things. So what you see on your screen right now is a computer network that you see in most of the companies. Whenever you see a computer network, that computer network has server or many servers, computers, switch or many switches, router or many routers, printer or many printers. So some devices will be like in more in quantity, some devices can be like one or two, it can be sufficient. Like if you take example of router, maybe one router is sufficient, or for backup purpose, two routers are more than enough. That is okay. But coming to servers, I can say with 100% guarantee, you will not see any computer network anywhere where there is one or two servers. One or two server is not at all sufficient. The smallest computer network can have around 12 to 15 servers. If you go with like medium to big level companies, it can be some hundreds of servers there. Again, coming to switch, a small company can have like one switch or two switch. But if the number of devices are more in your company, then the number of switches will be more. Switches can be in some hundreds. Okay. So let us say briefly what exactly is the work of each and every device. We know what we do by using a computer, what we can do by using a computer, right? We use computers in our schools, college, home, office place, everywhere we use the computers. Okay. And what we can do by using computer, we can browse internet, we can make some documents, okay, that comes under office work. Okay, we can open a audio or a video file, so we can do certain type of work on a computer, whether it is personal computer, whether it is a company's computer. Obviously in a company computer we will not open any audio or a video file, or maybe we are not playing any game. Majority of work that we do on an office computer is a work related to our job. Yeah, if you're accounts person, you do work related to accounts. If you're a multimedia person, you do work related to multimedia. So like every person will do work in a company according to his, roles and responsibilities, whatever you have. Done? Now, let us go to server. What exactly is a server here? See, right now we are connected. We are participating in this class. That means we are connected to a app here called Zoom meeting, right? Zoom app. That means we all are connected to Zoom server actually. By using this server, we are able to like conduct this class, conduct this seminar in a way, right? When you go and say google.com, you are connected to Google server. When you say like, facebook.com, you are connected to Facebook server. When you say yahoomail.com, you are connected to Yahoo's mail server. When you say like youtube.com, you are connected to YouTube server. So whatever you do over the internet, you are connected to one server. Which your website you are accessing, you are connected to that particular company's server. So server is a machine which hosts services A server is a machine which, fulfills the requirement of the clients anyway. I'm a client here. When I say www.google.com, I'm a client. When you say www.gmail.com, you're a client here. So this is called server and client. So we are using a client machine, and by using a client machine, we are connected to server. So as a client user or as a user, whatever we are accessing, this server will provide all the details to us. Server responsibility is to serve the request of client. This is the best and technical answer we can say. What is a server? Server responsibility is to provide these services to the clients. If I go to Google, and suppose if I say cloud computing. So once I say cloud computing, what server will do? It will provide me the information related to cloud computing, right? Simple. It will just provide me the information related to cloud computing, because as a client user or as a user, I am asking server to provide details of cloud computing. If I say suppose CR7, when I say CR7, it will provide me the details of a particular footballer. If I say like suppose Virat Kohli, it will provide me that information, right? So server is a machine that will serve the request of a client. Done. Now there are different types of servers we have. A very simple example, like when you say yahoo.com, www.yahoo.com. Yahoo.com is a web server. So once you say yahoo.com, you will get some news, entertainment news, sports news, political news about your country, or if you want to go with like other countries, we can search all these things on yahoo.com, right? That is a particular web server. But once you say www.yahoomail.com, that means we are connected to Yahoo server only. We are connected to Yahoo server only, but we are connected to Yahoo's mail server. See? Yahoo.com is one service, yahoomail.com is another service. So server responsibility is hosting these services. It's a very simple example because Yahoo we use regularly, Google we use regularly. So these are the companies that are offering many services to the users, many services to the clients here. Done. Now in the same way, within a company also we have multiple servers, and servers are hosting multiple services. Servers are hosting multiple services. What services a server will host within a company? The services that we see commonly in every company are, there is something called ADDS service, there is something called DNS service, there is something called DHCP service, file service, backup service, WDS service, okay, web service, etc. These are some of the services that we see in most of the companies. I can say more than 95% companies. If not 100%, I'm saying more than 95% companies. There are certain companies where there is no web server running within their company. Or there are certain businesses where they are not hosting a web server. They don't have any website. That is still possible, right? Okay. But we have some other services like ADDS service, DNS service, DHCP service, and all those things. So right now we are using internet. Everyone is using internet. That is the reason we are able to attend this seminar. Now, this DHCP service and DNS service, these services are working for us. DNS and DHCP, these are the two services that are working for us right now. DHCP is a service that will provide IP address in your machine. Some people are attending this seminar by using a mobile phone. Some people are using a desktop machine, or some will go with a laptop. So DHCP is a server which will assign an IP address in our machine. There is a concept called IP address, Internet Protocol. Like, if your mobile has a phone number, by using a phone number, you can communicate with the other person, right? By using that mobile number. In the same way, every device has an IP address. So that IP address is automatically assigned in your device. And that IP address is assigned by a service called DHCP. And there is one more service called DNS. Without DNS, in a way, you cannot use internet, because, DNS has a specific work to do. Like, whenever you say a name in your computer, suppose when I say google.com, computer will say, what is Google? I'm not sure. Computers cannot understand the names. Computers will understand only the numbers. So when you say google.com, your computer will send a message to the DNS server. It will say, The user is accessing google.com. Can you please tell me the IP address of google.com? So DNS server will say like, okay, google.com IP address is so and so IP address. So our computer will first go to DNS server to get an IP address of google.com. Then it will go to google.com and communicate. So that is the work of google.com here. That is the work of DNS here. So right now we are connected to Zoom. So it is like, again, it will go to the DNS server. It will get the IP address of that Zoom website or Zoom database server, whatever. Then it will like connect to the Zoom. So these are the two services which are running within the company as well as outside the company. So there are many services we need to learn in our server administration course. So if you go with Windows Server Administration course like MCSE, or if you go with like Linux Administration course, these are the services we are learning. Some services are there only for Windows and some services are there only for Linux. Like, ADDS. One of the most famous service we have is ADDS, Active Directory Domain Services. This service is specially designed by your Microsoft servers. This service is specially designed for your Microsoft servers. It will run only on Microsoft servers. It will not run on any other service, any other server operating system. Okay. So like this, some services are more useful on Windows, some services are more useful on Linux. So it will be great for your career if you know the Windows administration as well as the Linux administration. Theoretically, majority of things in Windows and Linux are same. Practically, of course, they are different, but theoretically they are same. There is a DNS service in Linux. There is a DNS service in Windows. There is a DHCP in Linux, DHCP in Windows. Web server in Linux, web server in Windows. File server in Linux, file server in Windows. But there are certain services which are there only for Windows, and there are certain services which are there only in Linux. Okay, but overall, this is your server administration. So what we do in server administration, friends? In server administration, we are learning what is a server, how to install a server, how to configure a server. These are the things we are learning in server administration. Okay, fine. Now, moving to network administration part. Network administration means you're learning about a computer network. You're learning CCNA, and in that CCNA, you're learning about a computer network. Actually, there are three major things that you need to learn in your network administration part. One is IP address part. Second one is router. Third one is switch. These are the three major components of your CCNA. These are the three major subjects of your CCNA: IP address, router, and switch. So what is IP address? Like I said you before, IP is a number that should be assigned on every machine. I'm not saying computer here, I'm saying machine. That means router has a IP address, switch has a IP address, computer, server, printer, firewall. Every device has minimum one IP. Now there are certain devices that there is more than one IP, like router. On router, there can be 2 IP addresses or there can be 20 IP addresses. Okay, so whatever machine you take, whatever device you take in a computer network, every device must and should have at least one IP address. Without IP address, communication is not at all possible. Now, once you go to some other courses like securities or cloud computing or virtualization or server administration like Windows or Linux server administration, when you just go and join a company, you will get a topology there. What you'll get a topology. Topology is the design of your computer network. Let me just take you to one simple topology here. Okay, it's not a simple topology, but see, this is a computer topology. There are some servers here, there are some routers, there are some switches, there are some, firewalls, there are many devices. Of course, we have some computers and all those things. Now, if I go and look at this machine, there is a number here like 10.1.1.4. There is one more number like 172.16.50.254. There is a number like 172.16.50.1. There is a number like 195.1.1.0, 10.1.1.5, 198.10.10.0. What are these numbers here? These numbers are your IP addresses. These are your IP addresses. So if you have to understand the topology, if you have to understand your computer network, you should first of all understand your IP addresses. See, there are different numbers you can see here, right? Here the number is 10.00. Okay. And here the number is 10.1.1. Here the number is 192.168. There are different numbers we can see here. 195.1.1, or this is a server. So we have different numbers here. We have different devices, first of all, and every device has minimum one number. If you connect a server to the network, and if you're not assigning IP address, no one can connect to this server, and this server cannot connect to any other machine. There is no communication. If there is no IP address, there is no communication. That's it. So on every device, we need to assign IP address. But okay, this is very easy to say, like every device should have an IP address. But what is the design of IP address? Can you see here? It is written as 172.16.0.16. There is some number written here. There is another number written here like 10.1.1.1. There is one more number here, 195.1.1.0/24. So what exactly are these numbers? What is 172.16? What is 195? What is 10? What is a public IP? What is a private IP? How much is the network portion? How much is the host portion? What is a subnet mask? What is /32? What is /24? All these details you should learn. And CCNA is the only course where you are learning about IP addressing in more details. I repeat, CCNA is the only course where you are learning about IP addresses in details. Once you go to cloud computing, or once you go to security courses or virtualization or ethical hacking, like there are many other things available in networking, right? So once you go to all those courses, you're not learning IP addressing there. You're using IP addressing. You know, normally people come to me and say like, okay, we are learning cloud computing, but we are facing difficulties. Like, you know, when you go with cloud computing, your cloud trainer, the person who is like taking your classes, he may say like 192.168.1.0/28. He will say this number 192.168.1.0/28. So if you know CCNA, if you have covered IP addressing and there is something called subnetting part in CCNA, you know what is this 192.168.1.0/28. But if you go and join cloud computing directly without the proper knowledge of networks and server, you're confused here now. You don't know what is 192.168.1.0. And without knowing what is 192.168.1.0, it's not possible for you to configure anything else. Without the numbers, you cannot configure anything. Okay, so what is this 192.168.1.0/28? That is what you learn in CCNA in IP addressing concept. See, IP addressing will take at least 5 classes. If needed, I'll go with like 6th class also. I'll take 6 classes, minimum 5, if needed 6. Okay. Now this 192.168.1.0/28 will come in 5th class. Just imagine how much we need to learn before we understand what is 192.168.1.0/28. We are spending 4 days. We are spending 4 classes learning many other things. Then we are in a position to understand what is 192.168.1.0/28. Now tell me, is it easy for you to just go and learn cloud computing or securities or anything without the knowledge? What you see right now on your screen is a computer network. This is actually a design of a computer network. Companies will design networks like this only. So without understanding the concept of IP address, it is literally not possible for you to understand anything else. Okay, so this is one major part of our CCNA, IP addressing. See, I can say one simple thing here. Any person can learn administration. Any person can go with cloud computing or security or, you know, ethical hacking or Linux administration, Windows administration, database. There are many other things here. Okay, any person can learn. There is no proper prerequisites here. Like there is no, you should have this particular graduation, you should have particular degree, some master's, some bachelor's or whatever. It can be any master's, it can be any bachelor's. You can start your career in networking, because when you start your server administration and network administration, you're starting from the scratch, you're starting from the basics. So any person can learn. But the major difference between an administrator and a good administrator is this IP address concept. If you're good in IP addressing, you'll be good in all the other things. Configuration of servers, routers, switches is not a big deal. I repeat again, configuration of servers, routers, switches, or even firewalls is not a big deal. In routers, switches, servers, and firewall, there is an operating system and there are certain protocols, there are certain rules and regulations we need to follow. Commands are already there. Okay, concepts are already there. We need to simply know how to configure them. We are not making anything from our side. I'll give a very simple example here, friends. See, I'm using MS Word here. This document I'm making in MS Word. And I know most of you know how to use MS Word, right? It's a very basic app that we need to know. Now see, server administration I have written here. And the color I'm using here is a black color. Can I change this black color to some other color? Of course I can do that. I just need to select the server administration, that particular thing. Go to this color option. And suppose let us go with like green here. Done color change. So what I have done here, I have just used the option which is available in this MS Word. I'm not making anything from my side, right? See, there are certain colors here. Maybe there are more colors available, right? But see, whatever colors we have here, we can use only those colors. I can go to more colors and I can find out some more colors there. But see, whatever colors are available in this MS Word document, those colors I can use. The color that is not available, that color I cannot use. So I just need to know the options that are available in MS Word. In this same way, when you go with like server configuration, router, switch, firewall, when you learn these technologies, when you learn these devices, every configuration is predefined. Like, you know, if there is a way to assign a IP address in a server, there is a way to assign a IP address in a router. Okay. How to assign the IP address in a server or a router is completely same in every router and every server. The only difference will be in my computer, the IP address can be 10.0.0.1. In your computer, it can be 172.16.1.1. In some other computer, it can be 192.168.1.1. It can be like this. But how to configure it, it is same. But which IP address we are using or what IP address we have to use, that is what you need to understand. When to go with 10, when to go with 172, when to go with 192. Got it? So this is your IP address concept, one of the most important concept that you learn in networks, that you learn in computer networking courses. Okay, and in details you're learning about IP addressing only in CCNA. I repeat, if you go with Windows Server, Linux Server, ethical hacking, cloud computing, virtualization, security, whatever you do, you may get some brief introduction to IP address. You just get some introduction. You're not learning the details of IP address. This is the only course where you are learning all the details of IP address. Okay, fine. That is your IP address. It takes a week. So we are not discussing anything else about IP. I just want to show you what is an IP. Now coming to the second device, that is your router. See, we cannot see a company without a router for sure. We cannot see a computer network without a router. But why so? What exactly is the work of a router? Now, the major work of a router or the main work of a router is to make communication between different branches. So you're working in some company, the company has some branches in different countries or different cities or different continents or within the city, different locations. Like take example of any banking sector. In India, SBI is the most famous. We know that we have like ICICI, HSBC, HDFC. We have all these branches, right? Just imagine a big city like Hyderabad, Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi. How many branches can you see of SBI within a city like Chennai or Hyderabad? Of course, it will be in some hundreds, right? Now tell me, one branch and the other branch. Is a branch which is there in South Chennai and a branch which is there in North Chennai. Are they communicating with each other? Of course, they will communicate, right? They are from same companies. They have to communicate with each other. They have to share some information. They have to share some files and all those things. Okay, so they have to communicate. But suppose imagine there is a branch in India and there is a branch somewhere in Australia. One branch somewhere in Brazil, one branch somewhere in Russia, one somewhere in Dubai. So India, Australia, Brazil, Russia, Dubai, we can see they are in different continents, right? Different countries as well as different continents. But will they communicate or should they communicate first of all? Of course, they should communicate. The Brazil and the India, these are the two branches of one company. So they have to communicate with each other so that they can exchange some information with each other. They can share some data with each other. So who is making these connections? Who is making these connections and communication between two branches? The branches which are located within a city or outside the country or outside the continent. Router is a device that will make communication between two or more different branches. The branches can be there within the city, within the country, or anywhere on globe. Router is the only device, friends, which can make communication between two different networks. Technically, there are something we need to discuss. This is not the right time to discuss all these technical things, but as of now, I can say in a general way, router is the only device that can communicate, that can make communication between two or more different networks. That is the main purpose of a router. We are connected to this session again because there are many routers working between us. There are many routers in between your computer and my computer and some other person computer. So how we communicate from your computer, where you are connected, from there where you go, and from there where you come, and from there how you are connected to me. All these things in details we need to learn. We need to learn how the computer networks are connected within our company and how they are connected from one location to another location. From India to Brazil, how we are connected. From Brazil to Dubai, Dubai to Russia, Russia to Singapore, Singapore to Australia. How we are connected with each other. All these details we need to see in our CCNA, and that comes under the router part. Got it? So router is a device that makes communication between two or more different networks. Now that is a major work of a router. But beside this, router can do some other things also. Router can be used for security also. It can be used as a firewall also. It is not equal to firewall, but there are some features available in router using which we can make router work as a firewall. So we have like at least 2 classes, or maybe like more than 2 classes for security in CCNA. But there is a concept called access control list. So here in this access control list, we will see how to make a router work as a firewall. Okay. Now, one more work a router can do is share internet. So in this topology, there are some 6 computers here actually, but it can be like 600 computers or even 6,000 computers. So imagine if there are 6,000 computers, how many internet connections you need? You need only one internet connections. There can be 600, 6,000, or even like 60,000 devices within a network. One internet connection is sufficient. That one internet connection we need to share with all the users in our company. So who will do that sharing part? Okay, we need to configure, but where we need to configure? On router, we need to configure. Router is a device that will share your internet with all the users. See, there is no company where only one internet connection is there for sure. It should not be there like that. If there is a small company with 50 to 70 people or maybe 100 people, still you should have 2 internet connections from 2 different ISPs for backup purpose. Of course, for backup purpose. If one internet connection is down for some reason, the other internet connection should be available. Like suppose we can take one internet connection of Airtel, another internet connection of Jio. So if Airtel is down for some reason, then Jio is available. If Jio is down, Airtel is available. So of course we have multiple internet connection, but still 600 computers, you're taking only 2 internet connections. Still it is a good deal, right? Because router is a device that will share your internet connection with all the users and all the computers within your network. These are some of the main functions of a router: making communication between different branches, providing security to your network, and sharing your internet with all the people. So we have to see all these things: how to make communication, how to make security, and how to share internet with all these people. So whatever topics we are learning here, these topics will be useful for you once you go to like security courses, or if you go with like cloud computing classes and cloud computing courses and all those things. So the bottom line here is router is a device that makes communication between 2 or more different networks. Okay. Now, normally whenever we say router, people think of that Wi-Fi router that is there in our home. Yeah, normally we call this device as a router, right? But this is not the actual router, friends. Actually, this is called access point here. This particular device is used only to share your internet connection within some small geographical location. Maybe like 254 devices can access internet by using this Wi-Fi router. It is actually access point, or we can call it as a Wi-Fi router. But the router that we learn in our CCNA is a different router, and that router will look like this. This is a router. Okay, we can see many ports here: serial port, fast Ethernet, console, auxiliary. There are different types of ports. It will take 1 or 2 classes for us, 2 classes overall, to see the physical components of your router and what is there inside router and all those things in detail. But this is your actual router. And there are certain companies that will manufacture your routers. Like Cisco is a market leader. Cisco routers. When I say Cisco router, you can see different size and different shapes here. Okay, there is something called series and model and all those things. So Cisco is one of the most famous companies that manufacture your routers, switches, and firewalls, as well as some other devices. Okay, so this is one company. So when you say CCNA, CCNA stands for Cisco Certified Network Associate. This is a course designed by Cisco. The CCNA course is designed by Cisco. But besides Cisco, there are some other companies also. There is a very famous company again called Juniper. Okay, Juniper routers. See, it is looking like your Cisco router. Of course, it will be like your Cisco router. Like when you look at a Samsung TV or a suppose LG TV. TV is a TV. The brand is different. Television will be same. When you go with a HP laptop or a Lenovo laptop, laptops will look exactly same, right? More or less, it will be same. Okay, the company is different. So Juniper is also one of the famous companies we have. And there is one more. Huawei. This is a Chinese company. We know this. So they have the routers, not only Wi-Fi router. They have this routers also, which makes communication between different branches. So these are the 3 most famous companies that manufacture your routers. Router is a physical device. Okay, it is manufactured by companies like Huawei, Juniper, and Cisco. There are many more companies, but I can say 85 to 90% cases, or at least 80% cases all over the globe, these are the 3 companies you see. These are the 3 routers. These are the 3 companies that manufacture routers, and in more than 80% companies, these are the 3 companies they use to make communication. So we are learning CCNA here. It's a very normal question I get every time. We are learning CCNA. CCNA means Cisco Certified Network Associate. Network Associate. So we are learning about a Cisco router. What if I go to a company, if I apply for a job in a company where there is a Juniper router, then what? I did CCNA and there is a Juniper router there. I did CCNA and there is some other company router there. Then what to do? See, router company is different, but internal features and functions and the protocols of router will be same. Like we said, IP address. IP address will remain same if it is a Cisco router or Juniper router, or if it is a HP server or Dell server, if it is a Linux server operating system or a Windows server operating system. The IP address concept will not change. It will remain same. Now coming to router, there are some protocols we configure on router. I just showed you this topology, right? See, there is a protocol here called OSPF. You can see clearly there is a OSPF protocol here. This OSPF protocol, we will see, it will take around 2 classes for us to see OSPF in CCNA. So when you go with Juniper router, we configure OSPF protocol. When you go with Cisco router, we configure OSPF protocol. Or if you go with any XYZ company router, you still configure OSPF, or there is something called EIGRP. These are the 2 protocols we have, so that we are learning. Now, OSPF working on Cisco router and working on Juniper router will be same. Okay, background process will be same. But at the front end, at the configuration part, there will be some minor changes. Okay, so there are certain commands on the Cisco router, and there are certain commands in the Juniper router. The technology will remain same. Only the practicals may change. Only the configuration will change. Technology will remain same. When they take the interview for a network administration job, they will not take interview on the basis of your Cisco routers, on the basis of the Juniper routers. They will take interview on the basis of the network technology, IP address, routing protocols, switching concepts. They will take interview on these concepts. Because, if they ask you something about OSPF, they are asking only about OSPF. Okay, they ask you about OSPF. They know very well, like OSPF can be configured on a Juniper router as well as it can be configured on a Cisco router. Okay. Now, if you show CCNA certification, that they will select, okay, you got training on CCNA, so you know how to configure all these routers. But in our company, we have Juniper router. So these are the changes you need to adapt. These are the different commands we have in Juniper router. A company is not expecting a person who knows everything about Juniper. A company is not expecting a person who knows about Cisco. If you know Juniper and Cisco, the company will welcome you actually. You know, companies will look for a person who has knowledge of multiple brands. So start from Cisco and just go through some Juniper router configurations and all those things. It will be very easy for you to get a job anywhere. So always start your career from learning CCNA, Cisco Certified Network Associate. Technology, concept, everything will remain same. The only difference will be in the configuration. The commands will be different. And coming to commands, if in CCNA, if you remember 35 to 40 commands, that is huge. Normally, you know, whenever we say you need to configure a device by using commands, people are afraid of using commands actually. It's a, you know, reality. But, you know, once you move into your career after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you feel more comfortable using commands than using the graphical interface. Life will move. Life will just change after some years. At least after 2-3 years, you feel more comfortable using commands. But as a fresher, you feel like, okay, commands are not so easy to remember and all those things. But what I'm saying here in CCNA, if you remember 35 to 40 commands, you're a champion in CCNA. That's it. It's not like you're learning some hundreds and thousands of commands. Okay, let me just take you to a router here. There is a software here called Cisco Packet Tracer. It's a simulation. Using this, we can do all practicals. So here there are some router switches. I'm not going deep into all these things. I'll just take a router here. What you see here, friends, is a real router. Whatever I do here, it will be same on a real router. But see, you cannot afford real routers and switches for practicals. It will be some thousands of dollars actually if you want to make your setup. So this Cisco people had designed a simulation that is called Cisco Packet Tracer. Using the Cisco Packet Tracer, you can do all the practicals. You can make your own topologies. You can do all the practicals. I just take you back to some of my existing classes, the classes that I have already finished. This is router, this is switch. So let me just open a file here. This is a configuration we have already done. Say this is your India router and there is one switch here, there is another switch, and we have some departments like sales, accounts, marketing, servers. Okay, so this is what we have done there. So how to do this configuration? Whatever devices you need, just take the devices from here and connect them. I'll show you all the things, how to take devices, how to connect, how to configure. That is what we need to learn in CCNA. Okay, but just for like, you know, brief introduction, I'll just go to this India router here. See, there is option called CLI. Enable 150. These are some of the commands. You can see name as India. I'll change the name, host name. Let's say Bharat. Just change the name. So this is one of the commands you should remember from the 35-40 commands I told you. Okay. Exit. If I select show IP interface brief, this is one of the most important commands that you need to remember. Okay, I said show IP interface brief. So it is showing me some IP addresses. See, remember I told you there are certain devices where there are multiple IPs. So there is only one router here and 4 IP addresses are here. Okay, one more thing, show IP route. This is one more command. So once I say show IP route here, we can see some output here. Is it difficult to remember show IP route command? No, it's not difficult, but it will take 2 classes and more than 2 classes for us to understand what is the output here, what is there in output. Commands are very simple and very easy. The output we need to understand. I said show IP interface brief. It's very easy to remember this command, but it will take me at least half an hour to explain the output. So in CCNA, majority of things are theoretical. 80% things are theoretical, 20%, 25% things are practicals. Practicals are very easy. Configuration of routers and switches are very easy. You know, these people, they can do this configuration within like 20 minutes. They can configure router and switches within 20 minutes. If you have to configure only router, hardly it will take 10 minutes for you to configure a router. I repeat, it should not take more than 10 minutes for you to configure router once you finish your CCNA course. But while learning routers, it will take 10 classes. See, there is such a huge difference here, right? Learning wise, we are spending 10 classes. But once you finish 10 classes and when you do practicals, when you configure a router in your setup, in your company, it should not take more than 10 minutes for you to configure this router. There are only that many commands we have. Theoretically, it's a very big thing. Practically, at CCNA level, practically it is very less. Okay, so routers and switches, each and everything is predefined. All the commands are available there. I said show IP route here. So this is a command which is already there in my router. I just need to know this command. I just need to know what is the output we get after executing this command. But suppose if I said this, what it says, invalid input, I entered an incorrect command here. So router will say like, this command does not exist in my operating system. Router also has a OS. It is called Cisco IOS. So router will say this command does not exist in my operating system. Invalid command. That's it, guys. This is the way we need to configure router. Okay. So router is a device that makes communication between different networks. It can provide security. It can share internet. And CCNA is the only course there where we are learning about this router. Okay. If you go with the Juniper, there is something called JNCA. There is also some certification with Juniper. Same course, same technology, same concept, same IP addressing, same protocols, everything will be same, but it is from a different company. Like, normally when you go to cloud, there is something called AWS and Azure, which are like market leaders as of now, right? AWS is from Amazon. It is called Amazon Web Services. Azure is from Microsoft. There is something called GCP. GCP is Google Cloud Platform or practitioner, some platform, I guess. There is GCP from Google. Can you tell me any bigger company than Amazon, Microsoft, and Google as of now? It's very hard to imagine, right? Any company. So these are the three companies that are offering cloud technology. So the technology is same. How they provide their console, how they provide their configurations will be different. Here also same. Okay. Now coming to the next device, that is your switch. You can see clearly when you see the network here, switch is a device that connects all the other devices. See, this is your switch. So switch is a device that connects all your end devices. A laptop is connected, a server is connected, a router, a switch, a firewall, a printer, each and every device is connected to switch. So switches will take around 1 week for us to see. So I'm not discussing anything about switch as of now. I'll just show you one switch. There are many things we need to learn in switch. There is something called MAC table. There is something called VLANs, trunkings, VTPs, okay, port securities and all those things. It will take around 1 week to finish switch. So this is your switch. You can see here it is written as Cisco. Okay, it's written in a bigger way here. Cisco, right? So this is your Cisco company switch. In this same way, you have switches from Juniper and some other companies. So the technology will be same again in every switch. The configuration will differ here and there. That's it. So these are the switches we need to understand, and these switches will take around 1 week. Okay, so IP address will take 1 week. Router will take around 2 weeks, and CCNA will take 1 week. And we need some more classes to complete some other topics. So overall, it will take 35 days to finish the network administration, or I can write here as CCNA routing and switching course. This is one of the most important course a person should learn. If you're planning to pursue your career in networking, cloud or security or whatever in future, if you have to start your networking career, this is one of the most important course that a person should learn. Without the knowledge of routers and switches and IP addressing, it will not be easy for you to understand anything else. I repeat, without the knowledge of IP addressing, routers and switches, it will not be easy for you to understand any other course or any other technology. This is one of the most important course you need to learn for your career. Okay. Okay, fine. I'll just take a break for 30 seconds. So please take your time. And if you have any doubts or queries, whatever we have seen in the last 15 minutes, feel free to send me your questions. There is a chat box here. It is always open. I'm just saying hello there. You can send me your questions in the chat box. So we'll just clear everything. Then let us see what is a CCNA certification and all those things. So please take your time, and if you have anything to say, please feel free to share your questions. So it will be like this. I have made a network like India here. There is something called Dubai and there is a Brazil here. So we have seen how to make communication between India, Dubai and Brazil. So there are many things. See, you cannot see a computer network without an IP address. See how many addresses you can see here. Literally on every device there is an IP, and there are certain devices where there are multiple IPs. Like if you go with Dubai router, there is an IP address like 12.0.0.2, 13.0.0.1 and 192.168.2.100. There are totally 3 IP addresses on this Dubai router. If you go to this computer, there is only one IP, 3.1. There is more than enough. Okay, so some devices have multiple IPs and some devices have at least one IP. Okay, friends, so this is the CCNA course. This is the network administration course. So I hope you understood what we are going to learn in CCNA and why CCNA is so important for your career. Without the knowledge of IP addressing and how the router is working, how the data is moving actually from one location to another location. Okay, there is something called there is a topic called OSI reference model where we will see how data is moving from your computer to the other computer. The other computer can be there on your same table or it can be there somewhere in some other continent. So how the data is moving, how the IP addresses are changing. There is something called MAC address. Okay, there are some protocols. All these things we need to learn in our CCNA course. Okay, fine. So we have CCNA certification also. CCNA routing and switching certification. Like, you know, for every online course or for every course, actually, for every technology, there is an online exam or there is an examination there, right? Like for example, if you go with cloud, AWS or Azure, there is an exam there. If you go with security, there is an exam. If you go with Linux, there is an exam. If you go with anything, if you go with any course, there is an exam. Or I can say like for most of the courses, there are some exams. Okay, CCNA certification is one of the most popular exam or most popular certification for last 23 years in India. Okay, this is one of the most famous exam. Now, why it is most famous? Because, you know, it is dealing with networks and all those things. And in the early 2000 and late 1990s, Cisco was a market leader, so there was no other certification. So that is again one more reason. Okay, so CCNA examination, the fees is around $200 actually, and total marks will be 1,000. Out of 1,000, you should get 825 to pass. Now, 1,000 marks means how many questions you are expecting? 1,000 marks means it will not be like 1,000 questions for sure. This is the questions will be like between 45 to 60. It can be anything between 45 to 60. And these are, you know, multiple choice. 90 to 95% questions will be multiple choice questions. Couple of questions will be like labs. It will be easy for you to do labs. No need to worry. Whatever we learn here, most of the labs will come from this practicals, from this labs only. Okay, so majority of questions, more than 90% questions are multiple choice questions, and 1 or 2 labs will be there. Some basic, actually lab will be, they will do all the configuration and they will say like, okay, these 2 routers are not communicating with each other, kindly troubleshoot. So we just need to see what configuration is there on router 1 and what configuration is there on router 2. And then we need to enter what is missing. Why they are not communicating? That command we need to enter. Finish your lab is done. Okay, so these are the labs we have. Now, can we pass our exam after completing the CCNA course? This is again a very, very common question I'll get in every CCNA seminar. Can we pass our CCNA exam after completing CCNA course? I can say one thing. After completing your CCNA course, you can pass your interview. You can pass your, you can work as an administrator. Okay, you can pass your interview as well as you can work as an administrator. But can you pass your exam? The answer is big no. See, why no? Why I said no here? Passing the examination is a different ball game actually. Passing examination is a different thing. You know, when you go for the exam, the questions in exams will be like, multiple choice questions and all this thing, but the questions are very technical. What we are learning in this course is we are learning how to configure devices, what are the concepts available, what is the technology, all these things we are learning. We are preparing ourselves for interview. We are preparing ourselves for job. We can work as administrator in any company, that I can say. But exam is a different thing. To pass the exam, there is only one option available, and that option is we have something called dumps. Dumps means, suppose if I say there are like suppose 350 questions and answers. Today I'm telling you, right? These are the 350 questions and answers. Go home and prepare to 350 questions and answers. And when you go to exam, how many question answers will come? Like I said, you between 45 to 60 questions and answers will come. And what if I say all these 45 to 60 questions and answers will come from these 350 questions and answers? Will it be difficult for you to pass your exam now? Of course no, right? All these questions will come from these 350 questions, and these are known as dumps. These are known as dumps. So we need to get dumps where we have 300, 350, 400 or maybe like 250 questions. Take those dumps and prepare your dumps, all the questions, and go for examination. You can write your examination easily. You can pass your examination easily. 100% cases, the questions, 100% the questions will come from your dumps only. Okay, the total time for your exam will be around 120 minutes. 120 minutes is huge actually. You can finish your exam within like 1 hour because you already know the questions and answers, so you can easily write your exam and you can easily finish your exam within like 1 hour. And where you can write exam, there are some centers called Pearson VUE. These are the people who conduct your exams. If you go to any big city in India or any other country or most of the countries, this Pearson VUE centers will be there. So just go to that Pearson VUE center and write your exam. Just provide your ID proof, like your photo ID proof, like passport or a driving license or whatever. They will take 2 ID proofs so that your certification will be linked with your ID. Photo ID proof means your passport will be there. Of course, your photo will be there, right? They will not take your school college certification. They just ask you for your 2 passport, 2 photo ID proofs. So just provide these 2 photo ID proofs. Select a day and select the time. It's up to you. Weekdays from Monday to Friday. I think on Saturday also it will be working. Except Sunday it will work for whole week. So just provide your ID proof and select your date and time and go on that particular date and time and attempt your exam. That's it. One computer will be there. One webcam will be there. They will just take your photo and the examination will start. And within like 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever, 2 hours is the maximum time. So before 2 hours, you can finish your exam. So writing the examination or getting the certification is not a big deal because we already know the questions. We have the dumps here, so we already know the questions. It is not a big deal for us to write our CCNA or any other exam. Got it? It will be easy for you to write the exam. You know what is the most important or the most difficult part? I just come to your question within like 2 minutes, Navit. I just saw your question like for Linux administration, is CCNA necessary? I'll come to your question. Wait a second. Now, I'll just divide our learning process into 4 parts. Our career actually into 4 parts. One is learning. Second one is exam. Third one is interview. Fourth one is work. Work means administration work. Now, can you please tell me, out of these four, which one you think is more difficult? Learning, exam, interview, or work? Okay, I got the message here like work. Okay, Avinash is saying all actually. No. Okay, let us see. I'll ask a simple question. I think most of you know how to ride a bike or how to drive a car and all those things. Tell me, is it difficult for you to ride a bike now or drive a car now? Of course not, right? You know how to do it. You can do it. That is a work. Is it difficult for you to make a resume in this MS Word? I know it is not, right? Because you know how to use MS Office, so it is not difficult. Is it difficult for you to like send a message on WhatsApp? No, because you know how to send a message. But remember when you started learning how to ride a bike or a car, was it so easy for you? No. It was like very difficult for you, right? Just to see where is the clutch and where is the brake and where is the accelerator and where is the horn and how to start and how to balance and all those things. Okay, it was not so easy. See, work is easy, interview is easy, exam is easy. The most difficult part is actually learning. If I ask you a question like 2 plus 2, how much? You will say 4 because you know that. That is an interview. In interview, they will ask you questions from the CCNA. Whatever you are learning, from that only they will ask you questions. So if you know something, you can easily answer. If I say, what is the capital of India? I know like New Delhi is the capital. You know like Delhi is the capital. Is it difficult to answer that question? No. But if I ask you, suppose some country somewhere from remote, like a small country, if I ask you like, who is the president of that country? Maybe it is very difficult for us to answer because we don't know that. If you know something, it is not difficult to answer. So please understand, exam, interview, and work is the easiest thing you do. Exam, you already have the questions. Interview, you know how to answer because you know the subject, so you can answer easily. Work, you already know how to configure a router and a switch. If you know something how to do that, it should not be difficult, right? Is it difficult for me to make a tea? It should not be difficult for me to make a tea because I know how to make a tea. But if I select, if someone asks me to make a biryani, for example, it's not easy for me to make a biryani. I don't know how to make a biryani. But if I learn how to make biryani, will it be difficult for me? Of course, no. So learning is the, I should not say most difficult. I'm just, comparing our 4 steps of our career. I'm saying learning will be always like, you're learning something for the first time. It will be difficult. Frankly speaking, it will be difficult. If I start learning French language from tomorrow, it will not be so easy for me. If I start learning like, Chinese language from tomorrow, it will not be so easy for me. Even if I start learning like suppose Malayalam from tomorrow, although it is our India, our country's language, but it's not easy for me to learn because it is a new language that I'm learning. But once I learn Malayalam or French or Chinese or whatever, will it be difficult for me to speak in that language? Of course not. So learning is the difficult part actually, but this learning part you'll be spending with me. So I'll just try my level best to make this learning part more easier and more, fun. Learning should be there in a proper order. There is a way in which we need to learn any technology. I repeat, the technology is already created. The routers and the switches and the IP addresses, this concept is already designed. We are simply learning how to configure what is router, how to configure router. What is switch, how to configure switch. Whatever is designed, that is what we are learning. We are not making anything from our side. We are not adding anything from our side. Okay, so we'll just try to make our learning process as easy as possible. But whenever you learn something, then only you feel difficult because you're learning something for the first time. So just remove one thing. Exams, interview, and work will be the easiest thing you do in your life. I repeat, exams, interview, and work will be the easiest thing you do. Because when you face interview, the person is asking the questions from your resume only, right? He will see the resume. You have entered CSN in the resume. So he's asking questions from resume. So interviews should not be a difficult thing. Work is actually nothing. Once you configure a router, maybe some days and weeks and some months will go. You will not make anything else in router. You will not make any changes in router. That is the way the administration work will go. If I go to my Facebook now, If I go to my personal Facebook account, I can show you like I have like hundreds of people who are working as administrators in different countries and companies and all those things. And once if I say hello, within like couple of seconds, I'll get the answer. They will say hello or hi. They are working in company as of right now. But why they are answering? Because there is no work for them. The devices are already configured. The network is already running. So whenever they need to make changes, they make some changes. Or whenever they need to they have some issue, so they will just troubleshoot the issue. Most of the cases as administrator, maybe it is server or network or cloud or security, your work is nothing. You just configure them and the devices are working. We just need to monitor them. Okay, so the difficult part, hopefully you'll be spending with me. The learning part is the most difficult part, and that particular part you'll be spending with me. I'll just try to make the learning part as easy as possible. It should be easy. Learning should be easy. Then only you can go and learn some other higher technologies. If you feel difficulty in CCNA, you will not go with like CCNPs and CCIs and all those things, right? Okay, so these are the 4 stages of our career. Now, coming to the question, there was a question here like, for Linux administration, is CCNA necessary? See, I will not say yes or no. I'll just tell you in some different way. When you go for a job, the company will look for a candidate who has the knowledge of server administration and network administration. Maybe the company is looking for Linux administration, but they will look for a person with like the network administration knowledge also. Or maybe the company is looking for the network administration, but they will look for a person who has the knowledge of Windows and Linux also. Half knowledge is dangerous if you know from our childhood, right? So if you know only server administration part, you know only server administration, but you're not into like networks and all those things. You don't know how the network is working. And if you know only the network part, you don't know how the server is working. So it will be great for your career if you know the Windows server. If you know the server administration part, whether it is Windows or Linux, doesn't matter. You should know the server administration part, as well as you should know the network administration part. If I say mandatory, I'm not 100% correct and I'm not 100% wrong. I can just say one thing. If you know the network administration part, it will be more useful for you, because the services that we run, the IP addresses that we configure, how the network is working, all these things you're learning in CCNA. So you're making a career for next 12, 15, 20 years, right? No one is making a career for like 2 months or 3 months or 6 months. You're just planning to make a career for next 15, 20 years or maybe more. So is it a bad deal to go with like CCNA course for like 1 month that will be helpful for you in everything that you do for next 20 years? It's not a bad deal, right? So I'm not saying like CCNA is mandatory for Linux. I'm saying like if there is a CCNA entered in your resume, it is like more added advantage. And if there is a CCNA entered in your resume, you are in a position to understand the other technologies in a better way. You are not sticking to Linux for next 20 years, right? You'll just move to like securities or cloud and all those things. Then again, you need to learn CCNA. So if you remember when I started the seminar, I told you, right, CCNA is one of the most important course that you need to learn in your networking career. It still is the most important course and will still remain the most important course for many, many years to come. Okay. If not compulsory, this is one of the most important courses. But if you go with like cloud or security, then I can say it is must. If you have to go for cloud and securities, CCNA is must. Okay, so I'll just highlight some major points here. Please listen carefully. Server administration, we know we are dealing with servers and all those things, different types of servers. Network administration course is our CCNA. We are dealing with 3 major topics: IP address, router, and switch. Got it? These are the 3 major topics. So we know what is IP address, we know what is the work of router, and we know what is the work of switch. But in details, you'll be learning from tomorrow at 10 a.m. CCNA classes will be from tomorrow at 10 a.m. Okay. This is your CCNA part. Then we have seen the certification of CCNA. CCNA certification is only one. There is one exam for it. The exam fees is around $200. Total marks will be 1,000. You should get 825 to pass the exam. And once you pass the exam, you will get a certification like this. It will be like this. The name will be mentioned there. See, this is your CCNA. There is some person, Nihal, Jitender, something, some name is here. Yeah, so this CCNA certification will come like this. Your photo will not be there, but there is a ID there, candidate ID. So that ID is linked with your the ID proof that you have provided, like your passport or driving license, whatever. So it will be linked there. Okay. So totally 45 to 60 questions will come, and some couple of labs will be there. Okay. And how to go for exams? You have to take dumps and you have to go for exam. And which center we have to write our exam? There is center called Pearson VUE. There you should go and write the exam. If you are in a big city, just go to Google and say like Pearson VUE near me, whatever. It will just show you like how many Pearson VUE centers are there within your city. I'm in Hyderabad right now. Hyderabad. So let me just say Pearson VUE in Hyderabad. There are many actually. See, there are many Pearson VUE centers. You can see. You can just go to any center. You can write. If you're in some other city, you can go there. But if you're somewhere in a town or a village or some district, if it is not there, you have to travel to the city and you have to write the exam. That's it. Okay, this was something that I need to discuss with you for today. I hope you understood what we are learning, what is CCNA course, why it is important, and what we are learning in CCNA. These three major topics we are learning in CCNA. Okay, now please take your time and just try to clear all your doubts if you have any. And hopefully we can stop the class here. And like I said, the CCNA starts from tomorrow. CCNA at 10 a.m. and then standard time. Tomorrow is what day? 25th, right? 25th October. That's it. Okay, fine. So no questions here. Fine, that's good. So I hope you understood the importance of CCNA and what exactly you're going to learn in CCNA. I was expecting some other question actually, because repeatedly I said dumps here, right? So I said there are dumps where you have 300 questions and 350 questions and all those things. Finally, I got that question actually. Why do we need dumps to pass this exam? Why do we need dumps, and from where we can take dumps? Actually, these questions are not like your our school and college exams. School and college exams, we have we need to see the question and we need to write the answer. And whatever teacher used to say the answer in our classroom, the same answer we need to write in the exam, right? But these are technical courses. These are your technical courses and scenario-based questions. Remember I told you, one of the questions they will ask you in exam is there are 4 routers. They will configure 4 routers and they will say, okay, these 4 routers are configured, but these 2 routers are not communicating with each other. So check where is the problem, or troubleshoot where is the problem. So this is a technical question. So when you start checking those questions, when you start checking those 4 routers and all those things, it may take half an hour for you to answer that particular question. But it may take half an hour, it may take maybe 2 minutes also, it depends. Suppose the problem is router number 4 and you started checking from router number 1. Everything is good in router number 1, 2, 3, 4. So by the time you reach router number 4, you already spent 20 to 25 minutes there. The time is only 120 minutes, right? And we have 50, 60 questions there. So the time will not be sufficient for you to address all the questions, to attempt all the questions. So what they do here is they select 350 questions and answers. They release 250 questions and answers and they will say, prepare these questions and answers. So when you prepare this question in your home, maybe it is taking 20 minutes or maybe it is taking 40 minutes. It doesn't matter, right? You can take time, you can understand the complete scenario, and then you can answer the question. You're actually answering the question in your home. And when you go to exam, you just like, answer that. It's a formality, so we need to just answer that. But you're learning more about these 350 questions in your home itself. It will help you in gaining more knowledge. You know what senior administrators will do? Whenever they sit without work in a company, they just download some dumps and they're just preparing dumps. So in those dumps, they will ask you questions which are more technical, which are more like, scenario based, which are more troubleshooting questions. So this 350 questions, 300 questions will help you in gaining more knowledge, will help you in understanding more knowledge. But why do we need dumps for exam? Because in exam, there is a limited time, 120 minutes. So if you want to answer all 50, 60 technical questions, the time will not be sufficient. So these dumps are making a person more, if I say intelligent about the technology, I'm not wrong actually. The dumps are giving more inside view of your technology. Okay, so without dumps, you can pass the exam. You can attempt the exam. But in my 12, 13 years of career, I have not seen any person who passed the exam without dumps. The only problem here, guys, is the time. 120 minutes is not sufficient. That's the only problem. Okay, I'll just take you to some exam collection. This is one website where you can get all the dumps. Examcollection.com. And see, can you see Microsoft, Cisco, CompTIA, Amazon, VMware, HP, Citrix, Google, Juniper. See, all the certifications are there. If I go to Microsoft here, Microsoft people are conducting this many exams. I'm just scrolling here. I hope you can see. Just scrolling. This many exams are conducted by Microsoft. See, Microsoft Azure Security Technologies. There is some certification and the certification code is AZ500. Microsoft Azure DevOps Solution. DevOps, I hope you heard the terminology DevOps. The examination code is AZ400. So for this also there are dumps. So you just need to choose your exam and select your dumps. I'll go to Cisco now. Okay, in Cisco they are conducting this many exams. See, there are quite a few exams, right? For which exam we need to attempt here? We need to attempt 200-301. This is our examination code. Cisco Certified Network Associate. So just go to this exam and they are charging around $80 for this. And we have totally 275 questions and answers. Last update was on September 19th. So 1 month before they have updated this. And we have some videos and all those things. So see, these are some of the dumps here. I'll just show you some questions here. Hopefully it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, there are these questions. And they're asking me to register. I need to enter the mail ID and all these things. Okay, I'll just go to Google and try to show you the exams. Yeah, it will be like this. Now see here. There is some topology here. This is a real exam question actually. There is some topology here and they're asking you to configure something. So you should read the topology, understand the topology, then answer the question, so the time will not be sufficient. And the second thing I can say is dumps is again a business. They will ask you money. They will charge you money around $70-80. So they are getting money from your examination fees as well as from your dumps fees. So whatever, it is a business for them and it is a good opportunity for us to understand. You see, there is a question. Remember I showed you this command just now, show IP route. So they just ask you some question related to this topology and we need to check each and every device and then we need to answer. But if you know this topology in your home, if you know this question from your home, it will be very easy for you to answer that question, right? That's the whole purpose of dumps. And not only for CCNA, I repeat, this is same for your any course. Hello. Can you hear me, guys? I think I'm just disconnected or what?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
You can hear me, but I can't see the screen here. Okay. Okay, okay, fine. So understood now why the dumps are so important for us. Simply, you cannot attempt your exam without dumps. That's it. And whenever you have some free time, just go and look for the older dumps. Older dumps is like which came 3 months, 4 months before. Just try to prepare dumps. See, once you join a company, there is no work. Like I said, you hardly we work for like 20 minutes or half an hour a day. So if you start preparing dumps or if you start reading the questions from dumps, within, if you read 3 dumps, like every dump has like 300, 400 questions. If you prepare 1000 questions, it is equal to like having 4 to 5 years of working experience, friends. Dumps are so important for us for our career, not only for CCN, it is for all the technologies. I showed you the dumps are available for your Amazon courses also, Amazon certifications also. I'm into Amazon now. See, these are the certifications by Amazon, AWS, and all those things. So for everywhere we have dumps. Okay, so just pay the money, and if you feel like $80 is a bit more money, of course, if you are a student, then it is a bit more money. So just you do one thing, just make a group of like 4 or 5 people and just share your dumps. That is possible. So every person will be like 10, 15, $20. It will be like less burden on you. So any person, a person who is sitting in USA, a person who is sitting in Australia, someone is in Hyderabad, someone is somewhere in like suppose Europe, all these people can use same dumps and they can attempt the same exam anywhere globally. But there is a condition. The dumps are valid only for 1 month. So within 1 month, we need to prepare our exam, prepare the dumps, and we need to write the dumps. But if you want to take dumps which are valid for like 3 months or 6 months, then we need to pay more money, around $100 if you pay. So then they will support you for next 3 months or 6 months, up to 6 months, I guess. That means whenever they are making some changes in questions, they will send you an email, and in that email, all the added questions will be there. Dumps will be valid for 1 month, but the questions will not change. All the questions will not change. If you take dumps from August 2021, like 3 months, 2 months before, right? So the dumps from August and the dumps in October, like 60, 70% questions will be same. Hardly 15, 20, 30% questions will change. So that is what they will change. That's it. So you can take dumps and you can just prepare the existing dumps after getting a job so that you can get more knowledge. Not only for CCNA, friends, for each and every other technology. Okay, so anything else here, friend? I can't see your messages, friends. Actually, I have just by mistake I have closed some tab here. I'm not able to get it back. So if you have any other thing to discuss, please talk to me over the microphone, because right now, where is my Zoom meeting? I can just see the friends here. Wait a second. Yeah, I got it now. I got it.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, class is at 10. Yeah, please. Yeah, Navid.
Sir, is there any other time also?
Right now it is at 10 a.m. only, Navid. Actually, there is no other time.
Sir, what will be the duration for 2 hours or one?
1 hour 15 minutes is the duration. In total days will be like 35.
Okay, sir, got it.
Yeah, I think you can see my screen. Yeah, fine. Okay, friends, so I'll be here for like a couple of more minutes. If there is anything else to discuss, we will see it, or else we can stop the session full day. And thank you again for joining on Sunday. Actually, I know yesterday some people joined this session, and once I shared this session, the power was off here for some reason. There was some technical issue. It was off till like afternoon, so I could not connect the class yesterday.
Sir, can I do payment with credit card?
About payments and all those things, the management will like send a mail to you, and I guess you can pay through credit card, whatever card you have. I guess I'm not 100% sure about payment now. So can you just talk to the management, or management will call you within like 2 hours, so they will share all the details with you.
Okay, sir.
Okay, friends. So I guess that's it for today. There are no more questions. So again, thanks for joining and have a nice day. And see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the first demo class of our CCN. Okay, so 1 or 2 classes will be like basic and introduction classes. Then we will enter into the IP addressing concepts. Okay, so that's it, friend. That's it for today. Again, thanks again for joining and very good luck for your careers and see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.